All right, welcome back to episode 6 of the Feronus Podcast. I'm Justin Kubek, the founder of Feronus, and with me I have,
Rico Camacho.
and we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, in a short show too.
Right.
First and foremost, always, it's June. Happy June. It's Men's Mental Health Month.
Yes.
It is also,
I thought it was teachers get off this month.
well, it is start of the,
So
it is
so
the start of
so
summer.
yes. I took it as my long vacation, but he's right. It's way more important than my vacation.
Well, and then it's Pride Month too, of course.
Yes,
We have
I know,
Pride
I know.
Fest coming up and all
I'm
that.
kidding, kind of.
Just
Kind of, because I do enjoy my time off. I
Um,
love my job, FYI. Just have to make that
oh,
plug.
of course. I mean, every job has its days,
And yes, and
but
that's why teachers need more days for our summer.
that's fair. That's fair. Parents don't want to spend every day with their kids.
Oh God, that's great.
All right, back on track. With it being June,
Mhm.
last year we doubled our donations for our Kindred products. As you know, every bottle of beard oil or jar of shave cream I sell from Kindred, I donate $1 to Men's Mental Health Services. Uh, Last year we doubled that to $2. This year we're going to double it too, but half of my donations for Kindred from June will be going to LGBT Waukesha.
That's awesome.
Surprise, guys! Sorry I didn't tell you ahead of time. Um,
No, not that.
right, I'm sure they're going to be upset about it.
I agree.
But something I did want to talk about today is a book that I've been reading.
Okay.
It's called the Divergent Mind. It's by Jenara Nerenberg. I hope I pronounced her name properly. But it really focuses on the more recent neuroscience based on or into neurodivergencies from like the past 3 to 5 years or so.
Okay.
It heavily focuses on women because women have been left out of psychiatric studies for a very long time. I mean, since the dawn of psychiatrics. Um,
Right.
and now I haven't finished the book. I do plan on making a blog post about it because it is that good. But the first portion of the book, they discuss kind of the history of it. And they talk about how, psychiatry originally came out of OBGYN, like health fields, and led to, I mean, the way we've talked about mental health over the last 2, 3, 400 years is very indicative of the times that we were going
Well,
through at
if
the
you
time.
look at it, if you're looking at the history in general of, psychiatry, I mean, one of the reasons that um, mental health can be considered, like we've talked about before, a dirty word, is because for many, many years, I mean, if you're talking medieval era, if you were considered crazy or have some sort of issue that you are nonverbal or whatever, you got just put in a house and left there, and then you come to today where we've obviously evolved from there with Freud and some of these, pioneering psychiatric doctors, and they were very controversial at their time as well. So it's been a very difficult thing to accept. So to leave people out, there's a lot of things that have been left out of mental health,
Right.
you
And
know?
and mental health treatment and study has been controversial since its coining of the phrase.
Right.
And when I'm talking, 300, 400 years back, this book discusses how, in the 1700s, mental health issues, the way we talk about them now, were talked about like you had ghosts in your blood, or
Yeah,
uh, you had demons in you, or something like that.
the exorcisms
And they would bleed people. There were drowning rituals to try and alleviate mental health issues.
issues.
Um,
So I mean, I love that they're going through the history of this and starting the science behind it. Now, the because this actually, it's also becoming. I love that you're reading this book. This one I've been meaning to pick up, but I really loved Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart.
Ooh, I'll check that out.
That one's a really good one too. Surrounding, she does also focus on women, but one thing that Brene did that was really cool is she started to realize a shift with men about having to be a good man was to be the savior. And what she said is, it was interesting. In her book, she tells a story of, she was doing a book signing, and a man walked up to her and said, "Hey, do you do anything with men and their mental health? Because I think my wife would rather have me die on my white horse than live next to her." And I think that's part of the men's mental health concept of, the neurodivergent mind, I feel as though I have to sacrifice myself in order to make a woman happy, and that's what makes a good man.
You had a spider on you? It is somewhere on your shirt or
Huh,
something. All
crazy.
right, spiders.
Yeah, spiders. We're outside, by the way, in this beautiful frame park.
Oh,
It's great.
beautiful day.
It is a wonderful day too. So anyway, so as I digress, but I mean, what I guess I'm really curious about, what you know, um, Jenara is talking about, is she talking about the way the human mind
It's all good.
connects?
It is about the way the human mind connects. And I think it's more so that down the road in
Okay.
the book. I haven't gotten to that part. Um, they've mostly been discussing kind of the history, and then realizing that the way we've talked about mental health conditions, or what we've considered mental health conditions, isn't that long ago to see some pretty major changes. I mean, just in
Right.
what, 1973 was the last year that homosexuality was considered a mental illness.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that's only what?
40, 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Mm,
That's
yeah, something like that.
not long enough for people to forget, but they have.
Oh, that's how we've evolved over time. That's what's been really interesting about that. You know,
But the other thing that it talks about is the style of language that is used to describe neurodivergencies and mental health, and how negative that can be. The Just the way that we talk about things. I mean, everything is a disorder,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And the way that they're kind of trying to reframe the topic
Right.
would be um, to take the negative verbiage away from the labels.
Right.
I don't fully understand the differences yet. As I said, I'm still reading, but one of the examples they give is the term sensory processing disorder versus somebody that is a highly sensitive person. And they both, from what I can tell, describe very similar things, but one is a much more negative term, you know?
Yes.
And it's this idea that these different mental health conditions, whether it's autism or ADHD, aren't disorders. They don't make any person less because they have that.
Right.
It's almost as if it's a naturally occurring phenotype of the human brain. So it's just, like you have a black lab or a yellow lab or a chocolate lab. You got different types of humans too.
Well, and the human brain is one of the most complex things we have in our bodies, and so, my humble opinion. And I mean, it comes from the fact that there's just so many connectors and everything's attached between your head and your heart, as far as how human body functions, that to really dive into it, into this portion of mental health, if you're talking from a neurological perspective, that's going to start. I mean, we've been trying to figure that out for, like you said, decades, and we're still struggling with it right now.
Um, and I really want to capitalize on, this reframing of the way we talk about things. Because,
Mhm.
I grew up in the 90s. I was told
Mhm.
the saying, I'm sure everybody knows it: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah, that
And over the years, I've learned that words actually hurt.
can hurt.
And sticks and stones leave physical damage, but words can leave mental damage.
Oh, well, Maya Angelou said, what is it? One of the greatest things I've ever heard her say. Well, and she said a lot of great things, don't get me wrong. But people forget what you did, people forget what you said, but you'll never forget the way they made you feel.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't matter if they're hitting you or if they're screaming at you, it could have the same effect. It's about the feeling involved, not necessarily the sticks or the stones.
Well, and a man that put that into practice and kind of proved it scientifically. If you've ever read the book The Hidden Messages in Water, it was released in
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
90s, from Masaru Emoto. I'm sorry, I probably did not pronounce
It's
that
okay.
right. Many are familiar with that story, but
Right.
the experiment that he conducts is on freezing water as it's freezing, and he's writing things on the jars and focusing thought on the water inside. And on the jars that he had positive thoughts and a positive message, you can see at the microscopic level these beautiful crystalline structures that almost look like snowflakes. And when you have the negative connotated jar, everything's kind of fissured and not clear, and it changes the way that the water freezes at the molecular level.
Interesting.
So, I mean, if words and thoughts can have that effect on water freezing, it can
And
definitely have effect on
our
us.
body's made up of a majority of water, so
Hey,
there,
that
there,
too.
there you go.
um, so yeah, really the idea is just, changing the way we talk about it is going to change the way we feel about it, and
Right,
it's going to change the way we treat each other too.
right.
Um, Now you had another topic you wanted to bring up. We were on our way over here.
So yeah, the topic I was looking at discussing is, so Justin and I, as we were walking over, we were looking at, we're at Frame Park, and it's a big park for those that may watch and not know, and it's right around a river, the Fox River. And there's two sides to it. One is more a popular side than the other, and we're on the more tame side, as it were. But I was talking to him about how I used to come here as a kid, because this was a place to get away. Like, this is a solitary place. It's beautiful with and obviously in summer in Wisconsin, it's beautiful with the trees and the river, and just lets you think. There's all aspects of nature. And what I was talking about is there's a lot of people. One thing that I've heard, and I shouldn't say a lot of people, the people I have encountered that will say, "Oh my God, I need a vacation." And one thing I've learned is, if you have an issue, you take yourself with you whenever you're leaving something. So you always got to look at how to empower yourself, or how to handle things differently, right? Or how to be one with your emotions and react. That's the best way I've always seen to handle it. Now, one thing I want to come, so I was talking to Justin about how wonderful it was to come down here as a kid when I just wasn't feeling myself, and I just needed some space. Maybe not a getaway completely, like, I need to go to a spa, but just a place you can come center yourself. And one thing that I've realized is the best thing to do is to find places near you to do that, because getting away like that is not always a possibility. We have jobs, we have lives, we have kids, we have whatever, and then we, build up and we still do need that getaway, even if we can't spend extravagant amounts of money to go to the hills of Fiji, or hills, mountains of
They're
Fiji.
big hills.
Yeah, giant hills. So, one thing as we even continue on through the show, I would actually encourage, as a strategy, finding places like this. I know we have a place also in Waukesha called the Retzer Nature Center. Wonderful place to just get away and just take a minute sometimes, because we all do need that solitary confinement at times. Nah, I shouldn't say confinement, solitary space. Better way to put it.
Some people need solitary confinement
Yeah.
sometimes. But I used to have that too. When I was in high school, I had a buddy's house that I would escape to all the time, and they're in Waukesha. We went to high school together, but going over to his house, which might have been a 10-minute drive, felt like it was 3 hours away. Like I was in the North Woods of Wisconsin,
Must have been
and
so nice.
society was a distant thing that I didn't have to deal with for a while I was there. And I got a little bit more of that as an adult, taking advantage of Waukesha's wonderful bike paths. I lived right off of 59, and so I had the bike path right in front of my house, and I could either take it into the Fox River Nature Preserve, or I could take it into downtown, and you know,
Just somewhere that makes you remember who you are as a person, as
exactly.
opposed to, because you're not you when you're angry,
Not you
or
when you're hungry.
that
Not
too.
sponsored.
Well, that too, but also you're not you when you're angry, upset, sad, not thinking you're good enough. All of those things tend to happen. So, that was the biggest topic, is finding a space for you that you can just go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's important to, take that time for yourself. And it doesn't have to even be outside of your home. If you're
That's
fortunate
fair.
enough to be able to build that space in your own home,
That's fair.
then, more power to you, because then you don't have to go far.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Now, I know we said we had a short show today, so we don't have a whole lot more to cover. But we did want to talk about a pretty big event that's coming up
Oh,
next
yes.
week. We have
Yes.
NAMICon. This year it's a virtual event held from June 11th to June 13th. There is, I mean, all sorts of speakers and collaborators that are on this. It would take me ages to give you the entire schedule. So if you want to check it out, go to events.nami.org, and there you can sign up and register. It is a paid event. You can also see the schedule for all 3 days and know what you're getting into. That is a pretty big event too.
Oh, that is really big. I mean, it's going to really help with this, creating more awareness around the understanding of what we're even talking about by the professionals. So if you can get out there, I know it's graduation weekend, at least in Waukesha and the surrounding areas it is, but it is the 11th through the 13th. So if you can sneak away, I would sneak away. And I don't know why they picked graduation weekend.
Oh, it's not during the week. That's during the week, not on the weekend.
Well, no, trust me, graduation weekend is the whole
Oh,
week. There's
okay.
events, there's like they walk to their elementary school and they
Gotcha.
do all, there's project graduation and
I remember Project Grad.
yeah,
That was
they
a good
still do
time.
that,
I got
trust me.
hypnotized.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're doing that too. So yeah, they
Awesome.
just do, it's a week where we're leading up to the next chapter of our children's lives.
Awesome. Well, with that, we have our staple,
Oh
as
yes.
always, the 988 Lifeline. Are you someone you know, or are you or someone you know struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal ideation? Know the number, share the number, whatever the reason, 988 Lifeline is here. Call, text, or chat anytime. Uh, yeah, it's an important service.
Yes, please. Absolutely. If you need it, call. And like we've talked about a lot, there's a negative connotation around mental health. That's why they keep it as anonymous as possible. You go through what you need to go through.
Well, and if you're still willing to talk about it, you can still work on it. That's how it works.
Yep. Yep.
But with that,
So be sure to like and subscribe all the socials. Always, we really appreciate you guys.
yes, thank you very much. Until next time.